Hello and welcome to another body language video. We're going to look at Winona Ryder in this video and her body language. I'm going to stop it along the way and point out some things.
She says, looking back, she had episodes of depression as a child, but like so many girls, all the uncertainties came crashing in at once in her late teens.
What was the first clear sign you were in trouble?
I was doing The House of the Spirits, this movie, and we were doing a sequence where I am being interrogated and tortured and beaten and raped. And I realized that that's how I felt on the inside. I felt completely beat up by myself. That I was kind of torturing myself. And
about who you are?
Yeah, about feeling like I didn't belong in the world, feeling incredibly alienated and alone, and this sort of piercing loneliness that was just sort of heartbreaking, and I was having these sort of horrible anxiety attacks.
But you still could go to work. You could still do it, even with your mind racing, your heart pounding.
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, I tell you, I was really freaking out. I remember really being so terrified of letting anybody around me know, like any of my coworkers or the cast that I was working with. I didn't want anyone to think I was crazy, and I felt like I was going.
If you freeze it here, this is a very fearful expression. She's been using words like freaking me out, fearful throughout this interview till up to now. This is a very fearful expression on her face, frozen here, and it goes very quickly. So her eyes are wide open, her jaws moved forward slightly, and she looks very frightened. And then it very quickly disappears.
Crazy.
In addition to the paralyzing anxiety, she says at one point she couldn't sleep for 4 days straight, the kind of exhaustion that can make you delusional. She checked herself into a hospital.
I was scared of that I might do something stupid. I wasn't thinking of suicide in that way, but I was getting thoughts like, I don't want to be here anymore. The only thing that they offered was a room, a bed. They put me in the psychiatric ward.
Among what kinds of patients?
I think every kind. There were people there was a seclusion room. There was people who you would hear screaming at night. I mean, it was very, very scary, very real.
After just 5 days, she checked herself out of.
If you look at her left hand here, she's touching her neck when she's talking about the very scary experience in the psych ward. It'll become apparent why I've pointed this out in a second.
The hospital, certain she could get better help on the outside, leaving behind girls like those in her movies, girls trapped in a parallel universe, unable to return from mental illness.
Was there ever a point at which you thought you'd never return?
Oh, yeah. There's this line from a William Styron book where he says she felt the clutch of a cold, invisible hand around her neck.
So here it is again, her hand is near her neck, her right hand, or her left hand this time as well, when she talks about the cold hand near her neck. Yeah, so far there seems to be something very sensitive about the left side of the neck. Touching that area for her means sensitive. And generally people who look at body language, but there are huge generalizations when you look at body language, but if you look at Amy Cuddy, for example, she talks about this specific action.
This one, which is probably the least traumatic looking, we get the strongest effects on, and I'll tell you why. It's because she's covering her throat, and that really means you're feeling threatened. And
funnily enough, she's talking about a completely different person in this video. She's talking about a person on this video here. But it's very interesting how she's talking about the left side of the neck on a female again.
So I want to point this one out because this is a real issue for women because they tend to play with their jewelry. And they actually wear it sometimes in order, I mean, you don't think about it, but sometimes people wear sort of short necklaces so that they have something to fidget with, but it ends up causing you to be in this pose. So just something to be aware of. You're less likely to see men do this than women.
Carrying on with Winona Ryder then.
When things got really bad, I would just say to myself, oh God, I just want to know that.
If you notice, there was a hiccup when she said, there was a very sudden gasp when she said, when things got very bad. It could be something like just a hiccup, sometimes you swallow some saliva and you have to do that, or sometimes you get those disruptions in your airways. But if you listen to the quality of her voice after the gasp, she uses a more grainy quality in her voice, more rasping in her voice, especially on "Oh God, I hope this will end."
This is going to end someday.
The road back began with intense therapy, and she remembers one day making a decision not to let depression define her life anymore.
I think one of my worst fears is being a self-indulgent person. And I really was very self-indulgent. And I was wallowing. And I got really sick of it. I got sick of myself. Really sick of myself. And I got really sick of depression. It was a way of knowing that I was alive, to be in that emotional pain. And I also thought that that made me a better actress, which it didn't. I thought all the great actors were tortured people. And I thought I had to be one in order to be good at my job. And it was a great thing when I realized I can feel alive, feeling joy and feeling other things.
Winona Ryder, now 28 and happily looking ahead. Do you feel all grown up?
I feel like I'm at an age where I don't have any more excuses. I feel like I can't say, well, I'm young, I can do this, I can, I'm at an age where I have to be responsible. It's kind of great to actually enter into that age where I feel more like a complete person, a whole person.
And the depression that once haunted her?
And it's gone? It's been gone, or does it come back?
It comes back every now and then. You have your really good days and bad days. And I'm certainly not immune to it. It's part of being a human being is to, some days you glide and excel.
In a second, her lower lip, is going to quiver with emotion. She's going to talk about the really low days she has. And she has a lot of intense emotion in her face, and she has a very peculiar quiver in the bottom of her lip. So what she's feeling is very real and it's very intense.
And you soar, and some days you fall and crumble.
There we go, 5:15. She just quivered her lip, and if we freeze here at 5:15, you can see a very intense, sad expression on her face.
It's a nightmare, and you think you're never going to get up again. It's what makes us human, and it's what makes me do what I do. It's what makes me want to act, is exploring both sides. Just smile all the time.
And tomorrow on Good Morning America, Winona Ryder talks about her life today and the man in it, Matt Damon. We'll be back.
And there you have it. That's a video published by Pinnacle KS. Hope you liked it.